Hey all, and welcome back to the HFC Livestream. We're starting a new game today, and Spar is in the driver's seat for this one. Yeah, he's actually been wanting to do this for a fair bit now. This is Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. Now, I know a little bit about the base game. What is it about the Zodiac Age edition that differentiates it, Moat?
Well, first off, you can use !Zodiac in the chat to get a quick rundown and a link that'll tell you all the big differences. But mostly, the international Zodiac job system that was released only in Japan adds jobs to the characters so that everyone could be a bit more specialized compared to how it was in the original game, where everyone could kind of do everything.
Right.
And so what that does is you end up being a bit weaker in some cases, but a bit stronger in others. Let me make sure subtitles are on. All my settings are proper. Yep. All right, let's get going with this.
Cool.
And I don't know how much new content there is, per se. I would say it's similar to a final mix for Kingdom Hearts or something, but it's not got the extra content like extra enemies and stuff like that. Most of that is pretty much the same. It's just some things are a bit different in terms of how combat works because of the jobs. There's a speed up button so that anytime you're out in the field or just moving around, you can have the game run at either 2 or 4 times speed, which cuts down on the playtime quite a bit.
Right. The Zodiac Age fixed that one treasure chest that if you open it, you miss out on the ultimate weapon.
There's actually like 4 of them spread throughout the game, and that was in the PS2 version. And yeah, for Zodiac Age, and maybe for the international version, I can't remember if they fixed it for that, but definitely for Zodiac Age, that is no longer a thing. There's also, I think, a few new weapons that are actually stronger than the Zodiac Spear, which was the ultimate weapon in the original game. So as a bit of background lore, things are going to be explained a little bit in the cutscene, but basically, the main story takes place in the royal city of Rabanastre, the capital of the country or nation of Dalmasca. We have Princess Ashe being married to Prince Razzler, who is the Prince of Nabradia, I think, a neighboring country, and they are at war with the nation of Arcades, the Arcadian Empire, who is trying to spread their influence and take over basically the entire continent for reasons that we don't really understand at this point.
Yo, hi, fancy colonialism. Boo, 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 boo. I'll actually clarify, Zodiac Age is international, but with a few more extras.
Yeah, that's basically it. Of course, HD-ified graphics. These are all pre-rendered, so they're kind of still PS2-ish. But honestly, this looked pretty good for PS2 times.
If Nabodis has indeed fallen, it is only a matter of time.
I would say the most I know about this game, I'll start with like the game side of things, is I know Gabrainth was in Dissidia.
A few of these characters are in Dissidia, yeah. I think Vaughn was. Maybe Vayne. I seem to recall that. Probably a bunch of them are in the mobile games, though, as well.
Just the judges, essentially.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And the other non-game thing I know about FF12 is, and this is going back a ways, it may even be like early HFC days, I saw a compilation of all the Esper summons set to a song by Rise Against. I can't remember what the song is called, but that video was crusty as hell. It was like 240p.
Oh,
maybe
right.
it seemed like that back in the day.
Alright, that's a bit random, I guess.
Apparently I was sounding like a robot there for a second.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. That should be cleared up as much as we can. If I need to turn my bitrate down, I will, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem.
Well, you were cutting out a few times for me, so...
Unfortunately, my internet speed is not that great, so bitrate on stream is going to be a bit low. Bitrate on the recording on YouTube will be perfectly fine.
Okay. I'm still going to cut out on that because it records whatever it records, so...
Yeah. I mean, I can turn the bitrate down real quick if you want me to.
Let's just play by ear. If you guys in the chat could let us know, and we'll adjust it accordingly. Nothing to worry about.
Of all the Final Fantasy games we played, what's our favorite spin-offs? Crisis Core.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Crisis Core. Either that or Dissidia.
Because that's probably the only one that I've actually played, aside from the sequel to this game that was on the DS, which I never actually finished.
Oh yeah, there was a sequel. There's also the Crystal Bearers, with that dude with the sick, like, jacket with the fur trim. I think he's in Dissidia Opera Omnia, or whatever the name is, for mobile, which is pretty cool. That Crystal Bearers game is like a lot of mini games that kind of tie a story together.
Huh, alright. I would love if Crisis Core is available on the new PlayStation Plus tier just for more people to be able to play it. I'm probably not going to be getting that anyway, though, because I don't think it'd be worth it. So.
I don't know if they've changed this, but currently, like, for PS2 games, I can't even select the NTSC option on my Euro account. I would have to make an NTSC account.
Yeah, which isn't, like, really bad to do, I guess. Anyone could just make any region account, as far as I know, but still.
Shit, you could help me set one up and we'll go from there. So, am I to take it the wedding didn't go all that well?
The wedding went fine. It's just that Prince Razzler was then sent off to war and unfortunately died.
Shit.
Yeah. This game does a bait and switch, I would say. In the first few cutscenes, you probably think that Razzler's going to be your main character, and then he dies. Almost immediately.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that.
That's not funny, how dare you! It's kind of akin to FF10, where you think, like, Auron, now there's a main character. No, it's Tidus.
Well, I mean, at least you play as Tidus in the opening section. Auron's just the cooler character that's doing stuff at the time.
What's your favorite mainline FF game, mate?
This is the only one that I've completed, if you don't count 14.
Fair enough. I can't really ever completed one that wasn't via action replay and whatnot. So, I guess I'm gonna go with none of them.
Fair enough, I mean...
struggled for dominion over Ivalice. Arcadia in the east, Rosaria the west. The invasion of the Kingdom of Nabradia was Arcadia's first step in its westward
So,
march.
Razzler's country has fallen, and Arcadia's influence and control is spreading, and they're aiming for Dalmasca. They want to take it over, because they're actually at war with Rosaria in the southwest, and I guess they want to, you know, have a better shot at taking them out.
Fair enough.
A counterattack was mounted by the Order of the Knights of Dalmasca, ever brave and faithful. But against the martial might of the Arcadian armies, they stood little chance of victory. Indeed, their defeat was to be absolute. Soon thereafter, Arcadia came forward, offering terms of peace, or, as one might rather put it, terms of Dalmasca's surrender. Lord Romanos, King of Dalmasca, and my dear friend...
This is a pretty... I won't say it's a common thing for this game, but we get these little excerpts of exposition of this character talking, and we meet him later. This is basically excerpts from his
The king had scarce departed.
I'm trying to think of the
royal
word.
city of Rabanastre.
Autobiography?
When the remnants
Yeah.
of the order
His
of
his last will and testament or
not
whatever.
too soon. For a terrible
Memoirs, that's the
revelation
word I
awaited
was
them.
looking for. Apologies. His memoirs. So he's basically explaining
The
everything that
treaty
was
would be
happening
signed with steel
at the time
and
from
writ in
the
royal blood.
perspective of, years in the future. And we get that a few times. I think probably about after a quarter of the way through, we don't see many of those anymore.
Can you hear me?
Like how it was chapter 12.
It's as I feared. They're slowing us down. Do not say that.
Yeah, what version of the game are you playing, mate?
I am playing on the Switch version. I was originally going to be playing on PC through Steam, but trying to run the game while streaming at the same time was getting a lot of frame dropping, so I figured if I got the game on console, it would, run a lot smoother. And it turned out that the Steam version was on sale. I later found out that the PlayStation 4 version was on even better sale on Amazon, but I would have to wait for it to arrive.
I'm fine, sir.
Right.
And then it would be a physical copy, so I'd have to deal with longer load times, and I'd already bought
17,
this.
sir.
So, this is what we're going with.
Young. Family?
My brother is all I have left, sir. He's 2 years younger than I, living in Rabanastre.
So young. You're barely old enough to be a man. You shouldn't be forced to wield a sword.
No, sir. I want to fight. For my homeland. And for my parents.
It's time, Bosch. Save the discussion for later. We must reach the king before they act, or all our efforts will be in vain.
I'm aware of the situation.
So basically what's happening here is that
Bossler, go ahead.
Arcadia has come to accept Dalmasca's surrender, and those that are loyal to Dalmasca are trying to prevent that from happening because they want to keep fighting. They don't want the country to surrender because they want to, control their own destiny and whatever.
Bang up job you went with picking a game that didn't reflect anything in real life right now, Spar.
Steady, Rex.
Well, there was a list of games and you ended up picking this one, granted you didn't know anything about it at the time.
Exactly. Yes, my mum had a wonderful birthday. Yes, that bad spider. Thank you very much. No, this is nothing like Stranger of Paradise.
No, this is honestly pretty unique, I would have to say, in terms of its combat system.
I guess the closest comparison, the one I've always drawn, is Xenoblade.
It's similar, yeah, there's definitely similarities. I would say this is Xenoblade, but everyone is a bit closer together in how they play, whereas each character in Xenoblade is pretty unique. Even with the job system, everyone in this game is still kind of operating around the same game mechanics.
You opened that gate like a champ, mate. I think we've got a chance to turn this thing around. Yeah, I'm hyped for free.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be pretty nice. I need to finish watching the story of 2 on YouTube so I can actually be ready for it.
No, I don't have to play 2.
Let's see, I'm going to set battle speed to fast because the game's going to be really slow if I don't.
Fair enough, mate. Speaking of Xenoblade 2, playing as a guy called Rex.
Captain?
Yeah?
I know the spelling is different, don't be pedantic, chat.
It handles fast forward mode just fine. Everything runs at the same frame rate, but like all the actions are just faster.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry too much about this boss fight. If I actually do get hurt, as you can see there, the other guys with me are just going to throw potions at me. And then once we get it halfway down, Bosch is going to step up and be a badass.
Yeah, boy. And we'll have an explanation as to what that attack was and what it means for our party later on, because everyone can actually do stuff like that later on. So what, was he manipulating E further?
It's called Mist in this game, but basically, yeah. It's
Okay.
the same principle. Nice, got a free potion out of that. That'll come in handy later. Actually, Bosch, the whole place that we're going through is pretty straightforward. It'd actually be really hard to get lost.
I need a map of this corridor.
Kingdom Hearts 2 style.
That's not until the next game, thank
What
you.
if Captain Oculus has fallen?
Classic joke, definitely not dated.
Vossel has laughed in the face of death far too many times for him to stop now. Men like him don't die in places like this. We must make haste to reach the king. We will take him to safety.
Is His Majesty unharmed?
He'll agree to an unconditional surrender. They wouldn't dare touch him until the wax on his seal is dry.
But if we arrive after he signed the treaty?
Wait.
So it might be that some of the people in our group are not necessarily trying to stop the peace treaty or surrender from going through, but rather they just want to make sure the king is safe, because anything could happen once, you know, it's signed and everything is done and over with. Because they could just take out the king once that's done.
Always best to remain pragmatic in situations like this.
There's actually quite a bit of enemies. It's nice that these guys are just going to infinitely throw potions at me, no matter what.
Yeah.
Right, and we're going to save our game. I don't care about the save file that I have here, because that was just kind of testing.
Look it up. The crystals are the key.
Intruders! Don't let them escape!
Sir, we have little time. You must go to the king. I'll handle these.
Fight well.
Gotta remember that I'm using a Switch controller. The A button is not where it is on a different controller.
The Xbox Series X controller kind of messed me up there because X and Y are switched around.
Yep, that bothers me in a lot of controllers too.
Yeah, it kind of messed me up when I was testing Sonic Unleashed, and you know the QuickTime events.
Yep.
No, me don't like it.
Alright, that's actually the gameplay for the prologue section done. We've just got some cutscenes to sit through now.
Neat.
Seems like we didn't make it in time.
I don't want to give anything away, but I've never heard of this Rex dude before, so I don't really fancy his chances.
You said that as he was getting stabbed.
Why?
Fuck.
Our king. What have you
Bosh, how
done?
could you? You were so cool.
The king intended all along to sell Damascus to the Empire. His Majesty was
Gee,
a
Bosh,
traitor.
you sir sound different now with your British accent that you did not have previously.
Well, so much for peaceful negotiations.
We'll never surrender to you. We are not cattle to be sold by a traitor king.
But the war is over.
Actually, Axel, that feature where you can reset and reassign jobs was also added to the PlayStation version. It's now available in all versions.
Okay.
Previously, it was exclusive to the Switch and Xbox versions, but it was later added to Windows and PlayStation as well. And I will be making use of that. For anyone that has suggestions on job combinations and characters to use for certain things, feel free to share them. And I'll, keep a note of them, and I'll use those combinations throughout the game.
Off you go.
You guys could have, patched me up at any moment. Just saying.
Well, they didn't want to. They want all of this to be set so Rex and Bosch, in quotation marks, take the fall.
Okay.
For killing the king and, ruining the whole surrender and all that.
Peace left by the wayside. The Arcadian forces resumed their
You can be a
advance on
pirate ninja
Dalmasca.
if you want to.
Dalmasca's doom
Roll.
had been decided.
Sort of. You can have guns and you can also be similar to a ninja and use daggers. And you could have both of those things at the same time.
People of Dalmasca.
Well, not at the same time. You could be both of those jobs, but you can't wield both sets of weapons at the same time, I guess is a good way to put
Raise
it.
songs of prayer in their stead. Prayer for His Majesty King Raminas, ever merciful, a man devoted wholly to peace. Prayer, too, for the noble Princess Ash, who, wrought with grief at her kingdom's defeat, has taken her own life.
And Princess Ash, after losing her husband and father and her entire country, has unfortunately chosen to take her own life. And so Arcadia is now free to take over Dalmasca with no one left to stop them.
Put to his death.
I'm sensing there's a discrepancy in this story.
Yeah. Again, this character is all recounting this as his memoirs years after all of these facts. So everything he's saying with the knowledge of what happens in this game.
Right.
And so, it's not just one bait and switch that the game does for the main character, it's actually two. Because, yeah, we lost Razzler. Razzler's not the main character, and Rex is not the main character either. Instead, we have Vaughn, I guess.
I know.
Vaughn's not that interesting.
You keep an eye out for me up there.
Fair enough.
He is... Throughout the entire game, and this is not much of a spoiler because I'm sure people have heard this for years, but he is basically an observer to basically everything that happens in this game. Obviously, he's participating in stuff because he's part of the party, and so he's actually fighting and everything, but he's not really involved in a lot of the events that happen.
Okay.
There are definitely other characters that we find later that I would argue are more likely to be called the main character. Some of which I would say are spoilers, but I'm sure a lot of people also know some of the characters that I'm speaking of anyway.
Hey, it's good practice for the desert. I'm ready for anything now.
Hey, Chaff. Haven't seen you in the stream in a while.
Oh.
That's enough for today.
I did.
You should get back to Miguel's place, Kites. Aren't you running errands for him?
Oops. Totally forgot.
Now, Kites here is one of Vaughn's friends. We actually get to play as Kites in the sequel game that was on the DS, which is more of a real-time strategy kind of thing, where you control your characters, but also little monsters as well to go around and take over certain things that allow you to summon more monsters, basically.
Okay, right.
I doubt I'll cover that game on stream because, again, I never finished it, and I don't like my chances of being able to play it on an emulator and be able to finish it. It's also not really connected that much to the story of this game, so I don't find it that important to talk about.
What'd you say?
Sir, you haven't paid, and What?
Haven't paid?
On second thought, please, sir, take it. It's a gift.
Leave the poor sod be. We don't want trouble today.
Your luck, peddler.
Oops, sorry.
Which way you're going, Churl? What? My pouch! It's gone! The boy! Get out the way!
Oh my god, is he Aladdin?
Basically, yeah, he is a street rat, stealing to survive. More so, he's stealing from the Arcadian Imperials because he doesn't like them. They killed his brother. This is, if you didn't know, this is Rex's brother. I don't know if that was mentioned clearly by the game.
I wasn't actually aware of that.
Yours. You've been stealing again. What happens if they catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to anyone if you're locked away in a dungeon.
Oh, what? Am I the leader now?
Yeah, 12 takes place in the same
We're orphans. The first thing you learn
continent,
is you gotta watch out for
I
yourself.
guess you could call it, as the tactics
You know it
games.
as well as I do.
It's all evilly, it's all set many years apart from each other though, so they don't interact that much, as far as I know.
Is that why the judges are in the tactics games?
Yes, I believe so.
It's
Okay.
our duty as Dalmaskins.
I think you can actually in Tactics A2,
Yeah, but
which
I
I
never
think
said
is on the
anything about
DS,
coming
you can
back for
get
me.
Vaughn and maybe Balthier and Fran, possibly, as characters that you can use, but I think they're just listed as like Sky Pirate and stuff like that, rather than using the actual character names.
Fair enough.
I know that. You think I like living like this?
I couldn't tell you, Chaff, because I don't actually remember if that was a big problem in the PS2 games with audio balancing during
One
cutscenes.
of these days, I'll fly an airship of my own. I'll be a sky pirate, free to go where I will.
Oh yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about now. A lot of the pre-rendered cutscenes, I think, were so ridiculously loud compared to everything else that the audio would actually start to get a bit distorted.
Right.
And I think that is fixed in this. I think they're about the same volume as everything else.
You'll notice I'm just saying right, and a lot. This is Spars, baby. I'm just here to manage the chat and keep him company, really.
Yeah, I mean, you're just kind of here to experience the game like everyone else, I would say.
For sure, yeah.
I'm pretty much going to keep the speed up on while running through cities, because there's not a lot to talk about, and it's really slow otherwise, so, yeah.
Doesn't speed up the music, does it? Because that would be hilarious.
No, that plays at normal speed.
Okay, that's fine then.
A lot of this game was adapted and changed to fit into some optional content that's in Final Fantasy XIV. They share some things here and there. A lot of stuff is kind of, you know, moved around and switched with certain things to fit into that game's lore. So a lot of the locations are there, a lot of character names are there, and some enemies show up in those like raids and stuff that they added. But it's all pretty different. It's kind of mostly just there for fan service, I would say, more than anything else. Like it's not like you're gonna run into Vaughn in Final Fantasy XIV. Although you can find a lot of people wearing his gear because you can like get a lot of the main character's clothes and stuff. Alright, and we have our next task to go see Tomage in the Sand Sea, which is a bar, which is right up here. It's confusing because there's also an area in the game that is called the Sand Sea that we'll run into probably in a few sessions.
Wait, weren't we doing the audio test in that place?
That was just the Ester Sand, the desert that's just to the east of Dalmasca. The Sand Sea is further beyond that. Actually, it might be to the west. I'm not sure.
In the Ester Sand. What is that thing?
Ah, Vaughn. Miguelo sent you too, did he? He's a busy man these days, that Miguelo, if I dare say so myself. I don't envy him the work, though. Not a bit. Quite the affair throwing a banquet to welcome the Imperials, eh?
Welcoming? We should be... whatever. Say, Tomaj, what's this?
Nah, don't remind me. Got some nastiness out there in the
This is basically an introduction to the hunt system, where particularly powerful monsters will pop up and like mess with people's lives, and anyone can like sign up to go take it out. There's actually a clan of people that are like set up to do this. We'll be interacting with some of them for side quests and stuff like that, but for the most part, pretty much understand that I'm the one doing work and no one else does anything, and I should be taking all the credit.
As it should be.
Yes, Goldmember, you can actually use the Japanese voice acting in this version. I've never actually heard the Japanese voice acting. I've always played with the English, and it's a lot easier to follow, generally, so that's what I'm going with here. How many sessions do I see this game lasting? Honestly, I have no clue whatsoever, because there's a lot of stuff that I could do as far as side quests. I'll see what actually I want to cover as far as that goes later on, but it's going to be a long game, that's for sure.
Nothing wrong with having a long running game on stream. I'm going to be playing stuff too, so we'll have variety.
Yep, we're going to be swapping back and forth between this and whatever Tom was playing at the time, of course starting God of War 3 tomorrow, and continuing on from there. This week is packed with streams because of other reasons, though, so you'll be getting extra stuff, I guess. No, I don't want to repeat the tutorial message. Alright, and before we can do anything with license boards, which are how we use equipment and magic and stuff like that, we need to pick a job. Shikari, or Thief, I guess, would be a proper description for it, is a really good job to choose for Vaughn. So that's what I'm going to be going with. Vaughn is kind of good at everything, really. There's not much that he can't do. He's kind of one of those jack-of-all-trades characters, so he could fit into pretty much any role that you want to put him in. Other characters are better or worse at certain things, but Vaughn can do just about anything you want him to.
This is my first time actually seeing this board. I'm more familiar with the sphere grid.
I don't know much about the sphere grid, but I would say it's similar. You need to unlock licenses to use basically anything in this game. Some characters come with certain things available no matter what. Like, most of the girls will have cure magic no matter what. Everyone can attack and use items regardless of anything. I think Balthier and Fran will have their default weapons to start with no matter what, so it's things like that. Everyone has their own things that they start with, and you can specialize them depending on what jobs. And again, because I can switch jobs whenever I want to, I can actually, basically do whatever I want with them at any point and change things around and try different combinations, which would previously not have been an option for me on the version I was playing.
RS Ray says, so Tom, how is Rare Replay so far after installing all the Xbox 360 games? Well, I did that after the stream ended, and I think next week we're going to have another stream for Rare Replay where we do those specifically.
That was the wrong direction. Yeah, that was to the west. I need to go to the east. I got turned around on the map.
I guess now's as good a time as any. How's the balance been, guys? Have I been coming in okay? Might have just been a blip with the bitrate heavy cutscenes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of going to happen. Again, I could turn it down if need be, probably in later sessions. I think it's mostly been fine.
I got the route of transit right here.
Chaff, if you use the exclamation point Zodiac command in the chat, you'll get a link to the wiki page that will describe all of the differences in both the International Zodiac Job System version and the Zodiac Age version, if you would like to check that out. Basically, the main addition compared to the original English PS2 game is jobs, basically. That's the big thing that's changed. There's a few new pieces of equipment here and there, but mostly that's about it.
Thank you, guys. Just let me know if I start like becoming robotic again. Mostly because you'll ruin my plan for world domination.
So before we left the square back there, we picked up a package that the guy needed to get out the gate. Needed to get it to this guy. We don't actually get anything for doing that. So you can just sell the package if you want to. There's no downside. Alright, now we are out to the Ester Sand. This is where we were doing our audio testing earlier. And so we're out here looking for the Rogue Tomato, which was the hunt bill that we picked up. But I'm going to fight a few things because I want to at least get to level 2 before I try to fight that thing, because it's actually pretty tough.
Okay, though.
Also going to run around and pick up a few treasure chests. I say as there's no treasure chest there. Treasure chests are pretty random in this game, both whether they appear and what they can contain. There are some RNG manipulation tools that people have developed to actually, you know, try to get rare items pretty easily from certain things. I know some people in the Discord were actually you know, talking about some of that when I was talking about starting this. There's actually one item that you can pick up. It's like a 1 in several thousand chance of getting the item, but with RNG manipulation you can get it. It is a bow that anyone can use because it doesn't require a license. And it has a higher attack stat than anything else in the game by a long shot. It's an invisible chest that you cannot see in a place where chests do normally do not appear. So a lot of people actually feel like it's a thing that's not supposed to be there, and it was left over from a previous version of the game, or some kind of test build or something like that. Alright, we took out the hunt bill, and even though that wolf was attacking us before the cutscene started, it has now disappeared.
Good. Vanish into the ether, Wolfman.
Never thought I'd see him growing out here. This'll make a nice souvenir. Time to call it a day.
Alright, I could fight more, but I'm low on health, I don't feel like wasting potions, and I'd kind of like to move on with the story, so we're just going to head back. And I'm going to save my game again.
Stand back there. Back! This gate's closed until the ceremony's over, do you hear?
Now what?
Open the gate! Alright, out the way.
I see how it is. Not gonna let the people through, but you're gonna let the chocobos? I see how it is.
What of it?
That's prestige, mate.
Parader, boy. Cost tens of thousands of gil, this one did. A prettier price than 100 of you provincials would fetch.
I was actually checking out my save file that I have on PC a week or so ago when I was testing this out, and I realized after playing for a little bit that I actually had like 98,000 or 98 million gil, which is the currency in this game, and I had no idea how I obtained that much, because I certainly didn't spend that much time grinding for it. And I remembered later on that some versions of the game actually have things in the menu that you can turn on to max out your money if you don't feel like grinding for money to be able to buy stuff.
It lacked the flavor and depth of some of your Arcadian wines, but it has a certain strength of character. It's not bad, really, once you get used to it.
I am planning on waiting until I get a PS5 to play Stranger of Paradise. I haven't heard much about the PS4 version, but I feel like I'd rather play it on the stronger console.
My mail's choked with this sand.
Don't give me a scare like that. You're lucky that ended where it did.
Right. Now's our chance to go through.
Ah, the ceremony will be starting soon. I'd best be hurrying.
Okay, well... Vaughn, wait! What is it? Vaughn!
No, it's not Captain Bosch. Captain Bosch is supposedly dead at this point, executed for his crimes. I think we all know that he's not actually dead.
We will have order. I give you your new consul, His Imperial Highness Lord Vane Solidor, Commandant of the Arcadian Empire's Western Arm... Your Excellency.
People of Rabanastre, is it with hatred you look upon your consul? With hatred you look upon the Empire?
I mean, yeah, you
There was little point
you
in
conquered the entire nation and killed the king, although they don't know that, I guess.
Frustrating that hatred. Nor shall I ask your
It was because of the Empire that the king died. I guess they can't deny that. So it's no surprise that the people of Rabanastre would hate the Empire at this point.
Strove to bring you peace. His was a rule worthy of your devotion. Even now, he remains among you, protecting you. His ardor for the peace and weal of Dalmasca falters not. I would ask only that you do your king honor. Together let us embrace the peace His Majesty would surely desire. 2 years now divide us from war's bitter end, yet still its shadow looms over all, stifling the infant peace a pall only you may cast off. Achieve but this one thing, and your hatred of me and of the Empire will grieve me not. I will stand fast. I will endure your hatred, suffer your slings and arrows. I will defend Dalmasca. Here I will pay my debt. I swear it now. Though King Ramanas and Lady Ash be gone, they stand ever at the side of their people. In honoring peace, you do honor to their memory and to Dalmasca. What I ask plain. My hopes now rest with you.
Yeah, there's reasons for the Captain Bosch section, Dr. Waddle Dee, which, I mean, we'll probably explain when we actually get there, but he was just trying to gain attention of the people in the city where that was happening.
Right.
For lack of a better explanation.
I figured that may have been the case.
Is Rabanastre to your liking, my lord?
It is magnificent. Take this cathedral, for instance. Elegant, yet whimsical in its execution. A stunning example of Galtean architecture. I hope Lord Gramus might one day look upon it himself.
The patron of this evening.
Yes, Dr. Waddle Dee, this is the Switch version.
I am Miguelo, your highness. It is truly a profound honor to make the acquaintance of our future emperor, highness. The people of Rabanastre join me in welcoming you.
That's enough of highness. Though indeed I am our emperor's son, I am no prince. Arcadia's emperor is freely chosen by her people.
I don't think that's how emperors work.
Nothing more.
I don't think emperors are normally chosen by the people.
Now that I think
How would you know? Have you ever been an emperor before?
Lord Consul, for that matter.
No, I guess I haven't, so I guess I wouldn't know.
Well, shush up your mouth then.
I could not. That would not be right.
You are overly fond of formalities. I've just the remedy for that. Tonight you will join me, and we shall drink until you call me by name.
How can he stand about him like that?
Vaughn, you just do not get it, do you? He's not doing it because he wants to. You know what would happen if he didn't.
I know, it's just...
So, what would you do different?
I don't know. Well... I'd do something.
Vaughn. Vaughn, you haven't heard a single word I've said, have you?
I don't know if people hate Vaughn particularly. It seems more like apathy to me.
Apathy is a good word for it. I'm sure there's people that hate him because he has so much focus, especially early on when he's not really... I guess early on is actually when he is more of the main character because he is, you know, kind of taking things into his own hand and doing stuff. Later on, he kind of really has no point to be there in the story, other than he's the one that brings the party together through some of his actions.
Right.
He's more of a catalyst than a main character, I guess is a good thing to say.
Yeah.
Give back to Dalmasca. Come on. What do you think? If I find something, and it fetches a good price, how about
Also, his voice acting isn't super great, but I don't think anyone in this game does a really great job with the voice acting.
You'd buy as an airship. All hail Vaughn, sky part of Dalmasca. It's got a nice ring to it. Stay out of trouble.
An airship. I don't know. Maybe. But not through Miguelo. Time to pay old Dallin a visit.
I actually don't remember much about line delivery in FF13, but I feel like that was probably better than this.
I would hope so. I mean, they had 3 chances to get it right, so...
Alright, a few things to do before we move on here. I need to go turn in that hunt that we completed, which you can actually forget about. And when you come back and do this, he'll actually chew you out for it if you take too long.
Oh, okay.
He is... right here, okay. Alright, and we're gonna go to the place he directed us to, because there's couple of things we can get there. As far as I know, the speed up does not affect the in-game timer, because when I completed this game before, I only had about 40 hours in it. And if the speed up was on, then it would have been much higher than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this is a much longer game than that.
Yeah, I'm kind of taking things at face value to make a joke here, but when he paid you your bounty, it was just like he was throwing the coin purse directly into your face. From, like, less than a foot away.
And here we have Clan Centurio. These are the people I was talking about that go out and take care of the hunt bills. We can talk to everyone, but there's not really much point, so we should just introduce ourselves to the Clan Master. This is what Moogles look like in this game.
Oh. Huh.
A lot of people probably not happy about this design, actually. And the other thing Montenblock will do is he's the one that actually allows us to change license boards and therefore jobs whenever we want to. So we'll be coming back to meet him probably a few times throughout this.
Okay, mate.
And let me just double check my notes again. Let's see, this is the north end. We want to go to the east end because I want to pick up some maps. I wish my notes told me where the person that sells the maps are. I might do this another time, actually.
Fair enough.
I'll see if I can find... nope, I don't see them from a quick look around. So yeah, I'm just going to move on. Maps are a good thing to have, but not incredibly important. You can fill out your map just by playing the game. Or you can buy maps, which is what I was trying to do. That'll save you the trouble. And it shows you all of the different zones, I guess, or rooms that each area has. So it's not as easy to get lost if you actually have the map before going to an area.
I gotta say, it must have run... obviously worse on the PS2, but the scale of this city is pretty great.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty cool. I think it ran pretty well. Stable 30, if I remember correctly, which is not bad at all.
Fucking wizards at Square Enix.
Alright, I'm gonna sell some of my stuff here. There's one mechanic this game has, the Bazaar, which is you can sell certain pieces of loot that you get, and depending on what you sell all in one visit, certain things will become available, and that's actually how you get a lot of the strongest weapons and gear in the game. This treasure chest right here is one of the ones that would lock you out of getting the Zodiac Spear in the original version. Of course, in this version that's not a problem, so I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. There's not really an explanation as to why that's the case. There's actually, in the original version, there's like 3 or 4 treasure chests spread throughout the world, and then there's a beach in one of the areas that has like a 3x4 square, or rectangle, I guess, of treasure chests in the exact same configuration as the dungeon where the Zodiac Spear is. And if you grab any of those chests that are on the beach, the Zodiac Spear will disappear.
I want to know how to sneak into the palace.
There were a lot of really dumb things in the original PS2 version because of the Zodiac Spear.
But treasure! Say it with me, Spar. Treasure.
Treasure.
Not treasure. Treasure.
That's why I'm gonna do it. To take back
note to Twitch, we do not condone taking drugs, just saying.
So, our champion of the sewers aspires to noble action. Admirable. Perhaps I can help you. Ah, now that I think on it, there was a rumor. Yes, a secret passageway.
Gold says, if you leave certain treasure chests for later, they will have better items. So what, do they just kind of like ferment?
Something like that. I guess it's similar to Gold saying there's something similar in Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger. In Chrono Trigger, if you leave a treasure chest that's in the past and pick it up when you're in the future, it will become a stronger item, basically.
Right. Treasure chest. Will I make this a running bit? Who knows? I gotta have something to say.
Final Fantasy XII has my favorite world out of most things that I've played, actually. I love this version of Ivalice, and a lot of the characters in it, not all of them are pretty good, but a lot of them are good. This game is actually one of the things that I have written fanfiction for, and it was a crossover with Naruto, so you can imagine how weird that was.
Mm-hmm. Oh, apparently E3 2022 has been cancelled.
Oh, alright. Completely, or are they doing, like, streams for anything, or what?
What? It was all digital anyway, so...
Yeah.
It says the ESA seems to be making plans to regroup for a large comeback in 2023. And then, Mr. Dorito Pope himself is like, winky face.
Huh.
Join us this June for Summer Game Fest. So yeah, Jeff Keighley's got it.
Alright. I should not bother fighting much because we're actually about to get our second party member, and that'll make things go a lot smoother.
It sure will. I do kind of agree, Gold. Summer Games Fest is not a substitute, but I think like people who want to do streams will do them anyway. We know Nintendo marches to the beat of its own drum, so
yeah. I think probably one of my favorite things about this world is there's so many different areas and people that are just doing their own things, not involved with the main story, and I think that's what makes a really good world for a story like this. Is there's just people that, you know, they're just living. You know, they're not worried about all the Imperial stuff. They're not connected to it. They're not at war. They're just kind of living their lives, and I think that's a really great thing to have in most stories like this. See, I don't think I need... I should probably buy that. Techniques are really nice things to have. I should definitely buy Cure. You have to buy all of your things that you could do in combat, basically, like magic and stuff like that. And then also purchase the license to be able to do these things, so... A lot of people probably stop at the combat system right there and say, this is a lot of steps.
Oi. You got a license for that firer? How about the Fundaga? You got one for that? Didn't fucking think so.
For Pinello, I'm probably going to start her off as a red mage. That's going to get us a pretty good selection of healing and damage output. So I think that's going to be a good place to start.
Jeppo1457 says, Yuri Lowenthal, is best Spider-Man, fight me. I would not bet against Yuri, he's probably top 3 for me.
Thinking that Red Mage was actually not a great place to start, but it'll work for now. Because I don't actually have most of the magic that Penelo can use from her license board. But you know what? It's going to be fine. She doesn't need magic to be helpful.
I actually don't have a license for doing commentary. They just haven't been able to catch me for the past 14 years.
Yeah, I really like the soundtrack in 12. It's honestly one of my favorites from most any game that I played. Probably my favorite part of the crossover stuff that they added in Final Fantasy XIV is like remixes and reuses of the music, because that's just always nice to see.
Was that a dude in an owl costume back there?
Nope, that was a monster that is an owl.
Jesus.
Do I have a map? Yes, there we go. Alright. Gotta remember all my buttons and what things do, especially on a controller that I've never played this game on before. Alright, yeah, like I said earlier, all the girl characters have the cure magic by default, even if you don't have the license for it. So I don't actually need to have that for her to be able to use cure, which is nice.
Okay. So yeah, what I'm doing, folks, and you'll probably hear this in the VOD after the first hour, is I'm going to record my audio so Flame has something to go off of.
Yeah, I do apologize about the cutting out. I imagine there's probably settings we could change in Discord, but I don't want to mess with stuff while we're actually live on the stream. So hopefully it will be improved for next time. But for now, Tom sounds okay to me on the stream like 98% of the time, I would say.
There we go. But it must be 100%. The monster design in this game is kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's actually pretty varied for the most part. You'll start to see a lot of things being reused later on as things, you know, start becoming new versions of old monsters. But yeah, there's actually quite a bit. Like, this is one of the first areas, and we're seeing like many, many different things.
Right.
I mean, Dragon Quest is always like that, where they reuse enemy types with different colors and strengths and stuff like that. That's pretty common for Dragon Quest. So it makes sense that they would include that for DQ11.
What happened to 10? Was that released in the West?
I don't think so, despite the fact that it was like a main focus of one of the Dragon Quest anniversary live streams. That was like shown in the West and translated and stuff. As far as I know, there is no Western release of that, which is pretty sad.
Oh yeah, Gilgamesh is in this game, isn't he?
Yes, and I will hopefully be showing him off for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I have never done that set of fights before.
I think he's voiced by John DiMaggio, and I really wanted him to reprise the role for Dissidia, but it went to someone else.
So what we're doing now is basically just siphoning the energy from the Sunstones, and damn, that was a really good one. The amount that you get from these is entirely random, to where it can only take 2 of these to complete it, or it could take up to 4. And so we're doing this to try to... basically, it was the kid's job that we saw back there to do this, and we're doing that so he can return to the village. And the Sunstone that we're making is what will help us get into the palace, and Vaughn wants to crash the party for the Emperor, is basically what's going on at this point.
Okay.
For anyone that wasn't following along with the cutscenes, either because I was going too fast through the text or because we were talking over it. Alright, it looks like it's going to take 3 of these things before we can actually get our Sunstone complete. Thank you to the random guy walking around for casting Protect on me. That's pretty nice.
Oh, bless him.
The prevailing theory around Gilgamesh, as far as I know, is that the character just kind of travels to different Final Fantasy games throughout the series, so a lot of people think it's actually the same character, just going to different universes. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen Gilgamesh in most of the games. I would say he's probably a different character, or at least a very good actor, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. The little bunny rabbit cast Cure on me, too. Sometimes when enemies are friendly or don't attack on sight, they'll be nice and give you things like that. So sometimes it's best to leave things alone when they don't attack you right away.
For sure. Well, it's very chilly today here in Bongland.
Well, it's actually pretty warm here today. We're starting to get into that warm weather where it's really cold in the mornings and warm throughout the day, and then warm overnight, and then cold in the mornings again.
I put my dressing gown on. There we go. Hopefully that won't knock my headset too much.
I should sell everything at once instead of one at a time. Surprisingly, I didn't get anything in the Bazaar out of all of that, huh? Alright, we've got what we came for, so back down to see Old Dallin, which was the guy that we were talking to before, to tell us how to actually get into the palace. Because this was all actually a detour.
Good.
And there's a few things that I could do now since I still have Pinello in my party. There's another hunt that I could pick up and go do, which would be a lot easier. But, you know, we've had a detour long enough. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. I could do stuff like that on my own time when it's not that interesting.
It's been a long time since we did anything together. Too long. I had a really good time. Well, I should probably be getting back to the store. Actually, I was kinda supposed to be watching the place for Miguelo. And Vaughn, try to stay out of trouble. For me. I don't know what I'd do if you weren't here. If something happened to you.
I'm not going anywhere, okay?
That's what I wanted to hear. See you later.
Sorry, Pinello.
Now you'll be wanting to know how to sneak into the palace, eh? First you go to Storehouse 5. You know the one. 2 doors she has. Now the right takes Ban Ratsbane to his territorial hunting grounds in the sewer bottom. But that's not the way you'll go. No, you'll take the left door, down into the Garum Scythe Waterway. The Waterway leads to a stair.
Now we're heading into basically our first dungeon, I guess, which is really not that much right now. It becomes more of a dungeon later on. But this is probably, most people would count it as the first dungeon. Because we have to get through it to get into the palace, and there's enemies here and treasures and stuff like that.
Right.
And there's a bit of stealth that we'll have to do once we actually get into the palace, because we don't want to get caught.
Listen, Vaughn, for the words I shall speak are most important, and not to be forgotten. Do you understand? The Signet yearns for Sunstone strength to light the clouded way. Once in the palace, you'll find the Signet tile. Very important. Give to it the sun's power, and it will light your path. Very well. Oh, a warning. Be aware that if you're caught, you'll spend the rest of your short life rotting in the Nalbina dungeons. So, look sharp, my boy. And don't go running off before you're ready. Plans freshly hatched have a habit of tumbling from the nest straight into the hunter's stew pot.
There's not a whole lot of preparation that I could really do other than going to buy more potions. But honestly, I think I'm fine, so let's just get on with it. Oops, cutscene.
Squads 3 through 6 are in place. They stand ready. So far, the Imperials haven't noticed a thing.
Then go now and hurry the others. By nightfall, we must ensure all our men are in place.
Sir. Sir.
Let's see if I get lost trying to find where I'm supposed to be going, because I get lost in the Lowtown area quite often, but hey, I actually made it.
Hey, good stuff.
Right, I forgot that Kites actually gives us some free items there, which is good. I'm just going to keep making a new save file every time so that I can go back for anything that I might have missed off screen or whatever.
What do we do, chat? Rotate our motherfucking saves. It's good for RPGs, it's good for Let's Playing RPGs.
Those of you that are paying close attention during the KH1 LP might notice a lot of save files on the list that don't get shown on screen because of things that I had to retry or go back and redo or things like that. So if that kind of stuff interests you, you want to find out some of the behind the scenes stuff of recording, feel free to look for those kind of things.
Yeah, very interesting, that behind the scenes stuffs. My Android self is taking over? Well, no worries, we are recording in the background, so...
I haven't checked my licenses in a while. Yeah, I can unlock some new stuff.
I think next time before we record, resetting your router might be good, mate.
Yeah, I kind of meant to do that, but today was very busy because of some unfortunate things that happened, mainly sleeping in longer than I meant to. So the license that I picked up and the skill that I activated is Libra, which I think is a pretty standard thing in Final Fantasy games. Basically, for this one, it allows me to see enemy information when I target them, and it'll also show hidden traps on the floor so that I don't run into those later on.
Okay. Yeah, as sewer being the first dungeon kind of reminds me of Dark Chronicle.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring that back to the HFC Livestream, and we'll do a proper one once I can get the American version.
Now, I think this Razor Fin that's here is actually a rare enemy that can spawn. So I don't know if this is a good thing or not. Hopefully I'm good enough to take it down. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, so that's a rare enemy that can spawn just kind of randomly here, and I guess it's a good thing that I ran into it. It's quite a bit of XP and stuff.
Woohoo! Yeah, during that brief period where I streamed solo, which was a very lonely time, I played a bit of it using the version on the Euro shop, but watching it back I was like, I don't remember it being this blurry, so yeah, I guess that's the 50Hz version.
Grab this treasure chest. that had 3 gil in it. Thank you.
Nice. That was worth putting in a chest.
Is there a save point? Nope, I guess I just have to move forward. Okay. Yeah, that's actually the end of the dungeon. For now, anyway. Probably my favorite character in the game is Balthier, that we saw right there.
Hey, there we go.
He's just really cool.
This is just Han and Chewie, really.
Yeah, basically. I would liken him to... Han Solo's a good one. Probably the reason I liked him was because I was a big fan of Pirates of the Caribbean around the time this was coming out, and he has a bit of the Jack Sparrow vibe. Probably without the, constant alcohol use, though. Now, I think in this room was actually another one of the treasure chests that would lock you out of the sphere. But, again, not a problem, so, might as well just pick everything up.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know anyone from Louisiana, so sorry, I'm not going to take that phone call. I'll have the speed up on for a lot of places where I'm just running around. Probably when I get into some harder fights, I'll turn it off so that I can actually pay attention to what's going on in the combat. But for the most part, I think it's fine to just leave the speed up on.
Mm. I think I'm good for another hour or so, and that's probably my limit.
Yeah, that's fine. We should be able to finish pretty much the first dungeon, I guess, and then we'll figure out where we need to go from there next time.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to figure out the correct person to talk to. Maybe I need to attempt to go up the stairs first? Yes, I did actually need to try to go up the stairs first.
Over here!
Okay, I guess we're just gonna run directly by him. That guard's just not really that competent.
Wow.
I was gonna, try to circle around and go out of his field of vision, but no, we just kind of ran right by him.
Hey, Buckethead!
I think I may have cornered myself immediately. Yep, I think I screwed up, so I'm just gonna get caught and reset.
Okie dokie.
This is not the thing we're looking for, so I need to just ignore
Over
that.
here.
I think I actually needed to draw these guards away first. Alright, and now I need to get all of these guards
Hey, Buckethead.
over here. For whatever reason, the guys that are along the side here just kind of don't notice you at all. They're looking directly at me, but like, I guess unless you actually walk up to them on the steps, they won't notice you.
Hello.
You know, my favorite Disney movie is actually Aladdin, so I'm going to allow this.
Over here.
And now all the guards are out of the way. I can go up here and... let's see, yes, this is what I want to activate this. Why is this here? Who knows?
Move.
I would say I'm fairly familiar with at least the base game of this Mendez, like the story and the things that are required for that. Most of the optional content I have not actually done before. You know, it probably shouldn't be this easy to sneak into the palace storeroom, but I guess it's a video game. We could look past some stuff.
I mean, it's not like they're storing anything important there.
Oh,
quite a performance.
Who are you?
I play the leading man. Who else? Fran, the Magicite.
Now then, I'll take that.
No, you won't. I found it. It's mine.
And then when I take it from you, it'll be mine. Exit stage right.
The gods do not smile on us.
I like it better that way.
This is the Switch version, Mendez. It's basically the same as all the others, although I think PC is probably the only one that can get up to 60 FPS. I think all the other versions are locked to 30 frames per second. It just so happened that the night that we were planning to break in and steal stuff from the palace, a group of rebels or whatever were planning to attack and try to take out the Empire, and Balthier and Fran were also planning to come in and steal stuff, so there was a lot going on tonight.
That's quite an entrance. Impeccable timing. If I didn't know better, I'd say they were waiting all along.
There are a lot of similarities to Star Wars in this story, yeah. Especially the stuff with the Empire, the princess and stuff like that. There's not really an allegory for Luke in this story. Like, obviously, Balthier is Han. We've got the hidden princess and stuff like that. There's some things that match up and some that don't.
Off with you.
Let go of me!
Keep this up and I will. What's going on, Fran?
I don't know. It's not heating me.
Don't have time for this.
I'm slipping.
Not good.
What happened? Our hover didn't just drop. It disappeared.
Ah, forget it. Even if we could fly, the Ifrit's playing with fire, and I'd rather not get burned.
I played a little bit of this game undocked, and I think it looks about the same, Mendez. Again, you're basically just up-resing a PS2 game, so even the Switch can handle that.
It's Vaughn. Sorry.
Well, Fran is special in that she deigned to partner with a Hume.
Oh? Like a sky pirate that chooses to steal through the sewers.
Pirates? You're sky pirates? So you have an airship?
It's Balthier. Listen, thief, Vaughn, if you ever want to see your home again, you'll do exactly as I say. Myself, Fran, and you, we're working together now. Understood?
Don't even think you're getting this.
The thought never crossed my mind.
Alright, and we actually, for once, have a full party, because 3 is the maximum number of party members that you can actually use at any given time.
Oh, cool.
Alright, so Balthier, I'm going to make... yeah, let's go with this for now. Most of this I'll change later on. These are just kind of, you know, things that I'm picking for now to have something to work towards. Okay, anything on Vaughn's license board that I can grab? Yeah, that's probably a good one to get. Some emergency healing. And this is probably the main part of the combat system for 12. Gambits are basically automatic actions that you can tell party members to take under certain situations. Like if there's an enemy nearby, they should attack it. Makes sense. If a party member is hurt, you should heal them. Things like that. You can get a lot more specific than things like that, as the game is automatically showing here. So you can actually set up a lot of things. You'll have more slots for gambits later on. So you can actually set up a lot of different things as well. As you can see, I could pick just about any of my items that I want. And of course you can buy different gambit targets, things like different HP values or MP values, or different enemies that have certain weaknesses and stuff like that. So there's a lot of customizing that you can do for gambits that's actually pretty neat, and probably the reason that I always enjoyed this system quite a bit. I think where the gambit system suffers is when you run into enemies later on in the game that will constantly inflict you with status effects like poison and blind and stuff like that. You end up spending a lot more time healing statuses than fighting, and that's just kind of what the entire combat system devolves to. I'm going to try to circumvent a lot of that by leveling up more than usual off screen, so that I don't have to worry about that so much later on. But yeah, for everyone that knows of the joke with FF13 and that it plays itself, this game basically does play itself.
Yeah.
Insurgents. Most like they thought to take advantage of a lax watch at the palace while the fate's on, to feed the good consul a length of steel for his supper. I should think Vane used to such hospitality. Clever. He used himself as the bait to draw them near, and then sent in the air brigade. A fine, bloody banquet. I dare say I've soiled my cuffs. If a dungeon's waiting for us at the end of the night, it had best have a change of wardrobe.
Alright, now we're back in the Waterway, which is why I said this was basically the first dungeon, because there's more of it to go through now. And there's a lot of hidden areas to this too, that we can come back to later as optional stuff. For right now, we'll obviously only be covering the required portions of the Waterway, assuming that I actually go in the right direction. Oh, alright. I think that was a rare drop, which is the gun that Balthier already has, so that wasn't a very impressive drop to get, unfortunately.
I mean, you could sell it.
Yeah, or, you know, if I wanted to have two characters using guns, then I could do that as well. Probably by the time I even get there, I would have much better options for weapons, though. But now that we have gambits, again, the game's pretty much just kind of playing itself. I don't have to select targets or anything, I just kind of have to move around and make sure that no one's going to die at any point, basically. as you can tell by the mini-map, there's a lot of side paths that I could take. I don't think really any of them have anything worthwhile, so that would be why I'm ignoring them.
Are there any like particular areas that you might need a key to unlock at a later point?
Not in this section of the Waterway, but there are some like that, which I will need a key for that I get from certain side quests.
Now that reminds me of Xenoblade.
Yeah. And whenever I do those sections, I will need a guide, but obviously that's not now.
Who would be next?
Close ranks, bring her down.
Jump down! Hurry!
She's not alone.
Our ranks grow by the hour.
And our troubles with them.
Okay, and now we have this mystery character fighting alongside us. She has joined us as a guest, which means we can have a fourth party member, basically, who in the original game would not follow the player's commands. They would have their own gambit set up to do kind of whatever they wanted.
And this is not fair. And
Changed in the international version, of course, this version, I can control them however I want, because I guess people didn't like that.
Amalia.
I'm kind of two minds about it. Like, I feel like a guest who's not part of the party should have their own ideas and motivations.
One of the other things that was changed for guests is that in the original game, they would have a gambit set, so after a certain party member gets hurt enough that they would throw a potion at them. And in the original game, guests used their own stock of potions, and they had an infinite supply, so they were actually really, really great for healing. And that's also kind of broken, and so they changed it so that now they actually use the party's supply of potions instead, which probably makes more sense.
You have a lot to learn before we even get started on your thievery.
what's that mean?
The situation requires I accept such help as I find, though it be from thieves. I shall accompany you until we find my companions, no longer.
Let's think of her as a guest, then. Unlike Fran or myself, our guest probably won't be taking orders from anyone.
Unfortunately, they didn't change the dialogue here, so they still act like the guests won't follow my commands, because they didn't re-record any of this dialogue.
Being such an upstanding member of the insurgents.
Resistance. Well, what are we waiting for?
Oh, she actually has a gambit for cure instead of using potions. That's not nearly as troublesome. Alright, I want to set up one thing before we move forward. Because there's a boss fight coming up, and the enemies happen to be weak to fire magic, I want to set up that gambit on Fran so that she uses fire on basically anything she sees that isn't a party member.
I was feeling a boss fight in our immediate future.
Especially when you get to this wide open space here.
What could possibly happen here? Oh, it's a pile of shit. Multiple piles of shit, actually.
Yeah, basically. So I turned the speed down to normal. This is the normal speed. Everything looks incredibly slow, but this is actually the normal speed of the game. After having the speed up on for so long, it just looks way slower by comparison. And first boss fight done.
Huzzah! Now these are Flans. I wonder if KH3 made their Heartless after these guys.
Possibly. I think they have similar designs in some of them. I mean, flan is just kind of a type of dessert, as far as I know, and so they're probably based on that too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, do I have anything to remove? I have eye drops, yes. Because Fran got hit with blind during that. I could probably take that fire gambit off now, because I don't think we are going to run into anything else that's weak to fire.
I mean, it's always good to have a fireball on top.
Yeah, but then you end up running out of MP, and then your party members just sitting there doing nothing.
Probably shouldn't be asking why there's ghosts in the sewers.
Yeah, probably best not to bother asking about that. Can't go that way. And the other reason that I wanted to turn off that fire gambit is because of this right here. Because we actually have a real boss fight and not just a couple pudding monsters to fight against. There are ways to make barehanded fighters work, Mendez, but I've never tried it. And I feel like almost any case you're probably going to be better off with a weapon.
Oh, this guy's kind of raw.
Alright, I need to use antidotes to get rid of that poison real quick. Oh, okay. Well, Vaughn died. Good thing I have some Phoenix Downs. I don't actually have a potion gambit on Kylie. I'm really just kind of leaving the healing up to Amalia, and whenever I feel like I need to force a potion. I think they showed a potion gambit in the tutorial for gambits, but other than that, I don't think there was one.
Man, Van's getting the shit kicked out of him at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's the one that's taking most of the aggro. So he's the one that's getting hit a lot.
Well, whatever works, I guess.
Alright, boss done. Had a few deaths for Vaughn there, and I think one for Amalia, but overall not bad.
Stand where you are.
Now's not the time.
They think me some common thief.
Better than a common assassin.
These people have done nothing. Release them.
What are you doing?
Don't interrupt me. I'm thinking.
Wait!
Where'd
He
you
didn't
think
know
you
what he
were
was
going?
doing! You have to let him go! You have to!
Penelo! Sorry. That dinner will have to wait.
I told you.
That's enough!
Leave him alone!
Hold on to this for me, would you? Just until I bring Vaughn back.
On your face.
Balthier always being the charmer.
All right. Edgy, aren't we?
It's Balthier, my brother. What does that philanderer think he's doing? I was to kill Balthier, not those addle-pated Imperials.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that, Kylie. Penelo is actually the useless character for the party, unfortunately.
Does she not do anything story-wise?
She gets kidnapped, and that's about it.
Okay.
She's a great party member in terms of, like, helping with combat. She's actually one of the best magic users. But in terms of story, wow, she does basically nothing.
Galbana lilies. Remember? You always said how they smelled nice and how pretty they were. Remember? The king. Did you? Were you really a part of it? Even if...
I'll be showing off some of the...
Even if you were,
interesting ones, Fang Light Wind, but not all of them, because that's just kind of way too much going around fighting uninteresting monsters.
Talking about the hunts here, right?
Yes. Because there are some that are moderately connected to the story, or have stories of their own that I think are pretty neat, but for the most part, definitely won't be showing them.
You're awake.
Where are we?
Prison, where else? Or a dungeon, but it's really all the same. Relax, it's just a corpse. Jump at every little thing down here and you'll wear yourself out. It's not even a proper dungeon. They just sealed off the bottom level of the fortress. Take a look around. We're not the first they've thrown down here.
Where's Fran?
She's off trying to find us a way out.
Balthier's mouth kept moving after he was done talking.
Brah, 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 brah.
Remember what curiosity killed? Just a friendly word of advice. This is all the water we've got. I'd save your strength if I were you.
Unfortunately, we got caught and thrown in jail. And so next time I think we'll be trying to escape, because this feels like a pretty good stopping point, because I think you said you wanted to go about this long.
Yeah, this is, well, I mean, we can vary it depending on how we feel, but, just with some tech issues and whatnot, I feel like it's best to just go here for now.
Yep, I'm going to save real quick, and then we can, sign off. So, thanks to everyone for tuning in to the first session here. Hopefully, Discord will be friendlier, next time for, Tom not cutting out as much, which hasn't happened in the past few minutes, but, you know, we'll try again next time, and hopefully things will be better.
Like I said, I'm giving Flame my raw audio from Audacity, so the hour after, well, the second hour to be precise, should be better for me. But otherwise, yeah, you did a great job there, Spar. I'm liking what I've seen of the game so far. It's actually pretty engaging. So let's see how Varn and Balthier, and indeed Fran, are going to get out of this one next time in Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. Thanks for watching, y'all, and we'll see you next time for another HFC livestream.
Bye, everyone.